Hello, Homeless Plumber here. I want to do something a little bit differently today. There are some new Unearthed Arcana subclasses for D&D. If you're unaware, these are essentially playtest materials, as it says right here, for the next potential book coming out. A big part of the theming of this, however, is being anti-magic or an anti-mage. You might know one of the characters I enjoy in Dota. Anti-mages are a personal favorite of mine, and I think that they're a little bit underrepresented in fantasy media. That being said, the one we'll be starting with is the Warrior of the Mystic Arts Monk, which is a 1/3 spellcaster monk subclass. If you're unaware, there are classes that are referred to as half-casters because they don't gain full spell slots, meaning spell slots that go up to level 9 as you level up. So, for example, in this case, you don't gain 3rd level spells until level 13. That's normally level 5 if you're a full caster, okay? So, you can see the difference. That being said, though, 1/3 casters can be fun, and a lot of times your subclass choice isn't that crazy impactful in a lot of situations. But let's look at some of the features of this one. I've read through this a couple times. So it's primarily sorcerer spellcasting. So you can use wisdom. That's important because you don't want to have to be using charisma on a monk. That would not be good. You gain, you gain cantrips, you gain spell slots as according to this chart here. So you gain level 2 spell slots at level 7, level 3 spell slots at level 13, and 1 level 4 spell slot at level 19. So, not good progression, but you have some interesting ways to use these spell slots, and you are still primarily, of course, a martial class, right? One really interesting feature, at level 6, you gain the ability to use focus points and spell slots kind of interchangeably and to be able to convert them. So right here, this is a chart showing how you can recover spell slots, but I think this is honestly a lot more useful. You can expend a spell slot to regain a number of expended focus points equal to the spell slot's level. No action required. So you can just do this whenever you need focus points. You basically just have them in the tank with your spell slots. So even at level 6, you have 3 level 1 spell slots. Like, that's 3 focus points if you wanted it, right? So, it's pretty good. You also gain the ability to replace one of the attacks with a cantrip. One of your bonus attacks, that is. Also, at level 11, you gain advantage on Constitution saving throws for concentration when you use a focus point on your main class features. Not bad. Could be better. I feel like you should get that a little bit earlier, considering, it's pretty expensive to cast for you to cast concentration spells in the first place, but whatever, And then, of course, the 17 big hitter. You can cast up to 2 level 2 sorcerer spells as attacks as part of an attack action instead of your bonus attacks. Very cool. Oath of the Spellguard Paladin. This is one of my 2 favorites. I'm kind of bouncing back and forth between Rogue and this, right? They vowed to protect their party and innocent bystanders from evil mages. Which is pretty interesting because it's not just, necrotic, it's not just like a lich or whatever, it's any mage. So level 3, I think this is going to get nerfed before it goes into the book, okay? This seems kind of crazy. It does cost a channel divinity, your main class feature, right? But so you can forge a divine bond as a magic action with someone within 5 feet of yourself. It lasts for an hour or until you go unconscious. For the duration, while the bonded creature is within your reach and is hit by an attack roll, when they are hit, remember that, you can make a reaction to add your charisma modifier, minimum of 1, to that creature's AC, possibly causing the attack to miss. When it hits, you can use the reaction. So, first of all, your party member's AC. They can just tell you, right? You can choose to do it after it's determined that it hits. And your own bonus. So there is not a situation, unless they also have a reaction that can increase their attack roll somehow. And this isn't a roll either. This is just your charisma modifier. What? This is insane. I feel like this is crazy, right? I mean, this is so strong. It is just an attack roll. This is even anti-magic. This is crazy. I mean, that's insane. You then have your spell list. Very interestingly, Shield gives you something to do in your downtime between uses of your Guardian Bond with that same kind of flavor. Counter spell, level 9. Pretty good. Level 3, you also gain the ability to basically hit anybody in melee with your reaction if they're in melee range and they cast a spell. Very cool. I love that. That's very cool flavor. A little Pathfinder coded. Aura of Concentration at level 7. Advantage on Constitution saving throws to maintain concentration while in the aura. It's fine, you know. If I were a caster, I'd usually be taking it at level 4, but hey, maybe you take Smell Sniper or something instead. And then you get kind of a big part of the benefit of it. Level 15, Spellbreaking Blade. When you hit a creature with your Spellguard Strike, you can cast Counterspell as part of the same reaction. Very cool for getting on top of a mage and shutting them down entirely. Level 20, Eternal Spellguard. Now, it's a level 20 feature. Nobody's ever going to see this, okay? But it is awesome, in my opinion. A bonus action. This is Empowerment of an Aura for 1 minute. The target of your Guardian Bond in the aura has resistance to all damage. You and your allies in the aura have advantage on saving throws against spells. Spell attack rolls against you and your allies in the aura have disadvantage. Wow. Okay. That is definitely worthy of a level 20 feature. Next, for my personal favorite, Magic Stealer. They prey on spellcasters, repurposing their magic and eluding divination spells to take magical power at the point of a knife. Your sneak attack, you can take a reaction when someone is within 30 feet of you, cast a leveled spell, and absorb that magic energy. When you do until the end of your next turn, the next time you hit with your sneak attack, you deal extra force damage, equal to d6s to the spell slot of the spell. Okay, so if it's a level 2 spell, you're rolling 2d6s force damage. Wow, that's pretty good. This is limited to the number of times equal to your intelligence modifier, but that is manageable on a rogue, okay? I usually dump a couple points into intelligence. I enjoy it. Drain magic, also. As a magic action, you can touch a willing creature and end one ongoing level 1 or 2 spell on it. The creature immediately recovers 1 expended spell slot of level 2 or lower, and you can only do it on a short or long rest. However, do you know it is a level 2 spell? Hold Person. If your party ever gets Held Person other than you, which less likely because you're a rogue, right? If they get Held Person, you can end it as an action and refund them a spell slot as well. Pretty good. You also then gain a couple options. These are kind of situational, but these are basically Cunning Strike options, which are, if you're unaware, is a partial alternative to Sneak Attack. So it costs a certain number of Sneak Attack dice to add this effect, basically. So you can give them disadvantage on the next saving throw that they make. Really good. They have to pass an intelligence saving throw to cast spells. Now, I will say, this is not quite as good on intelligence casters. However, this counts for any casters, okay? So, it is intelligence saving throw regardless. So this is a wisdom, charisma, whatever caster. So there's potential that they don't have high enough intelligence to even pass this check, too. And you can also steal their resistances, which is pretty cool. Occult Shroud. Whenever you finish a long rest, you can cast the non-detection spell using intelligence as your spell casting ability. When you do so, you can target only yourself and the duration increases to 24 hours. This is permanent invisibility to divination effects. Very cool, very flavorful. And you gain another feature on level 13 with this, if this utility, which, depending on the game your game master's running, maybe it's not the best, but it's a very good utility spell. Or feature. Level 13 Improved Drain Magic goes up to being able to target level 3 spell slots. Okay. And level 17 Eldritch Implosion. Stunning sneak attack. Need I say more? Lastly, we have the Vestige Patron. This is a pet subclass for a warlock, which is pretty interesting. So basically, you gain a companion, they act on your turn. You have to use your bonus action in order for them to act. Okay. However, they have their own movement and reaction. So, not bad. Their AC, HP, attacks, checks, everything pretty much scales with you, up with level or charisma modifier. So, pretty good. Bonus actions. So, there are 3 different types that you can cast. So, it's undead, fiend, or celestial. So, you can get cursed invocation. So, these are once per day. But the vestige places a curse on a creature you can see within 30 feet of the vestige for 1 minute. While cursed, the target has disadvantage on attack rolls against you and the vestige. 1 minute, disadvantage, you and the vestige, no saving throw. This is very good. This is justified as a once per day. Okay, especially this is coming at level 3, right? So you can swap places if it's a fiend. That's very cool. Can get you out of sticky situations. And the Celestial can give you 2d8 healing plus charisma and ends conditions. Very cool. Very good, I think, especially at this level. Vestige spells. You can essentially gain one of a couple different cleric domains as free prepared spells. Very cool. This is a very interesting feature as well. It's upgraded so that its divine power is now on short rest, long rest, or magical cunning. So, pretty good. Then they gain at level 10 Aura of Power. So there's a 30-foot aura, once per long rest. Hours equal to your charisma modifier. You and your allies within it gain resistance to fire, necrotic, and radiant, and have immunity to charmed and frightened. This could ruin some DM encounters if they don't know what this does before. Okay. This is once per day, so a lot of times you're going to be holding on to it for an important fight. So if a DM did not know that this was a thing, and or maybe if you're playing a Fey campaign or something, fire resistance, fire and necrotic resistance alone is going to be like just blanketly useful, right? And if you go to 0 hit points, you basically get stood back up with healing scaling based on your level, though it does dismiss your companion. And then at level 14, depending on the type that you have, you can exchange your companion for the spells Summon Celestial, Summon Fiend, or Summon Undead for 1 minute. So it just gives you another way to tank and do interesting stuff, Overall, I really like these subclasses. I'm not massive on the Warlock one. It's pretty cool. I'm just not a big Warlock player, and I'm not a big Companion player, so that's probably not what I would pick if I was playing a Warlock. The Monk, not great, honestly. I don't like 1/3 spellcasters. If I have spell slots, I want high-level spell slots. Like, that's just how it is for me. I might be losing some utility or whatever, but whatever. Paladin, great, flavorful. Guardian Bond, I don't see how this doesn't get nerfed before it comes out. I unless I'm missing something here or misreading this, like this seems insane. I know you have to burn a reaction on it, and channel divinity, but like if you know this is gonna be a hard encounter, you can armor up your spellcaster. Okay, like a potential. I know it's not gonna be this at level 3, generally speaking, but like potential to +5 AC. Magic Stealer is my favorite, easily. I want to play this. I really want to play this. This is really cool. The Drain Magic is very cool. The Empowered Sneak Attack and Magical Sabotage. I loved the Disrupt spell. This is so cool. I want to shut down a sorcerer with this that has to make intelligence saving throws and just fizzles. It's awesome. And the Occult Shroud. It might be... I know it's not combat utility, but like this is easily one of my favorite features in the whole thing. It's so cool to be permanently invisible to divinity, or divination magic rather. And I know some of the utility spells that aren't quite as flavorful, or utility things amongst other characters I didn't rate quite as highly, but I don't know. The flavor of it is awesome. So anyway, for today's positivity, hopefully everyone's doing well in the new year. If you're feeling a little bit down on yourself, just just remember, everyone's got a bit of insecurity, and just remember that getting to your goals isn't easy. And then if you're the type of person that sets a New Year goal, it might not get done this year, but that's okay. Don't see it as a personal failing, just see it as a way of progress, you know? You got to start somewhere, and maybe you don't end this year how you want it to end, but, you know, every year is a step along the way.